Today's story is one of the most beloved folktales in Japan, the Tongue-Cut Sparrow, or Shita-kiri Suzume. It's a story about a kind old man, his greedy wife, and a little sparrow whose tongue was cut out. This tale reminds us that true kindness always returns to us, while greed brings its own punishment. Let's travel back to old Japan and hear how it all began.
Long, long ago, in a quiet mountain village, there lived an old man and his wife. They had no children, and the old man kept a little sparrow as his beloved companion. Every morning, he fed it with care, talking to it as if it were his own child. One day, while the old man went to cut firewood, the old woman was washing clothes by the well. She had made some rice paste, but left it unattended in the kitchen. The hungry sparrow hopped out of its cage and licked the paste clean. When the old woman returned and saw what had happened, she grew furious. "You wicked bird! So you're the one who ate my paste." Without mercy, she seized the sparrow, forced open its beak, and cut its tiny tongue with scissors. "There. Now you can't cause trouble again. Get out." Crying "Itai, Itai. It hurts, the little bird flew away into the mountains. That evening, the old man came home. "Where's my sparrow?" he asked. The wife replied coldly, "It licked my paste, so I cut its tongue and threw it out." The old man was heartbroken. How cruel, that poor little creature. The next morning, unable to rest, he set out to find his friend. "Tongue-Cut Sparrow, where is your home?" he called as he walked. Over fields and mountains he went, until at last he heard a faint voice from a bamboo grove. Old man, come this way, come this way." Following the sound, he arrived at a lovely house, the Sparrow's Inn. There, his little friend greeted him joyfully, now healed and cheerful. "Oh, dear Grandpa, thank you for coming all this way." "I'm so glad you're safe," said the old man with tears in his eyes. The sparrow and its friends served him delicious food, sang songs, and danced the sparrow dance. The old man laughed with joy. It was the happiest day he had in years. As the sun began to set, he said, "I must go home before dark." The sparrow brought out 2 wicker boxes, one light, one heavy. "Please take one as a gift, dear Grandpa. Choose whichever you like." The old man thought for a moment and said, "I'm old, and the road is long. I'll take the lighter one." He thanked them deeply and returned home. When he opened the box, out spilled gold, silver, and coral treasures. The couple's small house shone with light. But when the greedy old woman saw it, she grew jealous. "Foolish old man. You should have taken the heavier one. I'll go get it myself." That very night, she stormed off into the mountains, calling, "Tongue-Cut Sparrow, where's your home?" The sparrows welcomed her politely and offered her the same choice. Without hesitation, she grabbed the heavier box. "Of course I'll take this one," she said, running home. But the box was heavy, far heavier than she imagined. On the way, she stopped to peek inside. Suddenly, bam! The lid burst open, and ghastly monsters leapt out, one-eyed goblins, giant toads, and spirits. "You greedy old woman," they cried, chasing her through the dark forest. "Oh no! Oh no! Help me! Help me!" screamed the old woman in a shrill voice as she ran for her life with all her strength. At last, pale as death and half out of her mind, she stumbled back into the house. The old man was astonished. "What happened? What's the matter?" he asked. The old woman told him everything that had happened and said, "Ah, I've had enough. Never again." The old man looked at her with pity and said, Well, you really went through something terrible. That's why one should never be too cruel or too greedy.
What a story, right? The story of the tongue-cut sparrow reminds us that true kindness is never lost. It always finds its way back to us, often when we least expect it. It also teaches that greed and cruelty carry their own punishment. If you enjoyed today's tale, please like, subscribe, and share it with friends who love Japanese culture and old folk tales. Until next time, keep your heart gentle, your spirit curious, and your tea warm. And if you have a moment, let's take a closer look at where this story began and what deeper lessons it holds.
The story of Shita-kiri Suzume, the tongue-cut sparrow, has been told for centuries throughout Japan. It appears in early Edo period collections of moral tales for children, known as otajizoshi. In many versions, the sparrow's inn is said to be hidden deep in a bamboo forest, sometimes associated with areas in Shiga or Nara prefectures. The setting reflects the peaceful life of rural Japan, where sparrows often lived close to farmers' homes. The moral of the tale is clear. Kindness, patience, and modesty lead to happiness, while greed, cruelty, and impatience lead to ruin. This story also reflects the Buddhist value of karma, that our actions, good or bad, will always return to us. Interestingly, the tongue-cut motif may also represent the old woman's attempt to silence the weak, a warning against abusing power over those smaller than us. Even today, this story is told to children across Japan as one of the classic, moral folktales. So next time you see a sparrow hopping nearby, maybe it's a reminder to be kind, gentle, and grateful for the small joys of life.